Next topic, talk to me in you guys doing a view from a bridge. You guys wanted to support Black Lives Matter and also Broadway Cares and Equity Fights AIDS. Yeah, sorry, I had another screen pop up. You guys, I think that's awesome, and taking your art and wanting to support other causes. Let's talk about BLM very briefly. What we saw and the pattern that we have been seeing for various years now, as Will Smith says, racism is not getting worse, it's getting recorded. That needs to stop. Just freaking flat out. And I'm going to stop myself because I can go on another 10-minute rant and hijack this conversation. So that needs to stop. That said, talk to me about your guys' need to say, okay, hey, we're doing these selections from the play, but we want to support these two causes. Talk to me about that.
Well, really quickly, what we're really excited about for 110 Productions is that the projects that we're going to continue to produce beyond, View from the Bridge, so sort of our pilot, if you will, and it went so well, and we're so inspired. But not only the play, but this cast and ensemble and crew, we're like, there's things going on in the world right now that we need to address, to your point. So we collectively had a conversation about, where can we allocate awareness and, awareness for certain organizations and charities. And these were the ones that we chose collectively. We all talked about it together in a rehearsal and said, we're passionate about this. We want to have other people help, but also we want to help. And Tyler was instrumental in that. And do you want to talk about a few?
Yeah, sure. So I mean, even it was the beginning of our rehearsal process. That was when all these things started happening. With George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, all these African Americans who it's been a struggle for a long time. I think that this is an issue that I think now, especially since we do have the social media and there's these platforms where like you said, things are being recorded. People aren't we're not turning a blind eye to it anymore. And I think especially during this time, on top of just everything that's going on in the world today, we just, as a cast, we had a discussion. We were just like, how do we feel about all of this? But I think it's very important as artists and as people, in today's society, is just to have conversations about what's going on and how are we feeling, and what can we do? And so I think that was very important to me, because I know as a person of color, that, seeing all the news stories and in this in the same issue that comes up, it seems on a weekly, almost daily basis, where it's there's a new story out. There's more and more things. Another video comes out of police brutality. All these things. So I think it's still as a collective ensemble, I think we just really wanted to not only tell the story and and do something creative, but we wanted we just felt like right now it's important to to take a stand, to invite others to be informed, and invite others to join us. That's how we really wanted to approach this. We wanted to invite other people to just be informed and and donate if you can, even just $1 if you feel, if you're able, and just standing and feeling a sense of solidarity with these issues, because there are a lot of issues going on right now. So especially with Black Lives Matter, I think that was something that we really felt very passionate about, especially just where we are in the world right now, that we wanted to bring that to the forefront, and we wanted that to, we wanted to invite people to join us, and just even just to click on a link and just to research and be informed, and don't turn a blind eye to this, and to stay informed. And then also with Broadway Cares and Equity Fights AIDS, that's an organization that I've been very familiar with, this as a theater performer, and just what they're doing right now. They're assisting with the Black Lives Matter movement. They're for the Actors Fund, when there's a ton of performers out of work, and I think that organization, they allocate a lot of their resources to, you know, a whole bunch of causes. So those are two in particular that we felt very passionate about, that we felt, you know, really are making a difference right now, as an organization. And so we felt like, yeah, Black Lives Matter and Broadway Cares Unified States, those are two organizations that we felt like are making positive change. I think that, you know, we hopefully can encourage people to, yeah, to look into it, to donate, just to be informed at the end of the day.
And I agree with what these guys said. I think it just felt like our duty to do something, to try to help in some way, because it is extremely important, and we wanted to be a part of that.
That was a whole lot shorter of an answer, Jessica. Are you a very brief and concise person in your responses, Jessica?
I don't know. I just felt like these guys really said it nicely, and like I didn't feel the need to really elaborate too much, but I did want to put my 2 cents that I feel like it was very important to do. So,
quick side note, aside from the topic, I have your opposite problem, Jessica. I have to actually stop myself.
Good, we balance each other out.
Because I have that bad habit, but I'm conscious of it, you guys. I'm conscious of the fact that I don't be quiet sometimes. And you guys, I thought that it was very creative to, you know, because a lot of times, as a filmmaker on my end, or maybe as actors or as artists and just in general, I've had my moments where, you know, back in the day, I said, okay, well, I do this thing, and how could this thing help this cause or this other thing, right? And so it's been at least, you know, in my case, my evolutionary process to then figure out the bridge or the bridge that connects the two, right? And so that's basically what you guys did. And by the way, the link to everyone out in Filmation, the link to the play, as well as the organizations that I do, guys, I want you guys to send me some links. I'm going to go ahead and put those in the descriptions of all the videos also. But back to this, basically, that's still doing your thing, but helping out somebody else or helping out another cause. And I think that that's so creative when a lot of times, you know, maybe when that creativity is not there on behalf of other people, maybe the thought is, well, I'm sorry, I can't do anything. Yes, you can. You can do something. You can take the thing that you do and figure out how to help somebody else. Let me give you guys an example. I've had a few screenings of my short films where out in the public here in Tucson, you know, just in public spaces, and we invite we invite, but they give us a box that I then tape the community food bank of Southern Arizona, right? And then I tell people, bring a can of food. That's it. We're not even charging you for the movie. If, you know, of course we charge for popcorn and soda, but bring a can of food. And then it's through my screening, or I've done this a handful of times, that then I was able to collect, you know, a few boxes of food, you know, and it's not a major, so I think, anyway, you guys get the point. I think that that's very creative of you guys to take your art and support through your art. And at the same time, you guys are offering a play for free for people to check out. And so I think that that's so awesome that you guys bridge the two.
Yeah, if I can jump in really quick, because the 3 of us are training, our undergrad training is in acting. The 3 of us, and Jessica and I went to school, and, you know, Tyler went to state, which, you know, all these worlds are colliding. But something that one of my professors taught us that I thought was so profound, to your point, is that even though we rehearse and we perform, and it is sort of, we're very inward because we have to create a character. We have to, you know, realize what the study of acting is. We're training. It's a very individualistic thing. But one professor said, you have to realize that when you get on stage, or in this case, when we get on Zoom stage, it's for something greater than yourself. Perform for something greater than yourself. And whether that's a belief in God, another higher power, for other people, that's what felt so bonding to us as a cast in this experience. And in, you know, plenty of experiences is that like, okay, yes, I have to focus on me when I'm rehearsing my lines. In my case, all of our cases, we had accents, and it's like working on it, you know, going back and forth and making sure that you're on point. But at the end of the day, once we hit performance time, it's for something bigger than you.
Yeah.
And in this case, in these times, that's why we felt so passionate about it. It's like there's so many other things happening right now, and you're right. We have to use this medium, this platform, our gifts to try to help and raise awareness and heal people, and at the same time entertain people. I think right now during the pandemic, like, people realize now that they're missing content and art and entertainment and singers and actors and, you know, just movies and all these things. So that's where we were coming from. It's that, okay, this is what we can do, and we're still practicing our craft, but it's really not about us. And that's important.
That's a great way to put it.
Out of work right now, like Jessica said, you know, it's just, we're doing the best that we can with what we know how to do and the tool set that we have to help other people is all it's about.
And that's empowering, Christian, because I think a lot of people don't think that that the tools that they already have at their disposal are, you know, with applying the creativity to the tools that you already have. I mean, that's more than enough that people may not realize. They just probably don't see it, or maybe have never been introduced to the concept. Like, for example, I've talked about him tons of times before. One of my great inspirations, Gary Vaynerchuk. If you guys not have heard of him, entrepreneur, big on social media, and, you know, definitely a motivational speaker, though he doesn't like that type of thing. But basically, his big thing is, you know, harnessing the power of the internet. And so he referred to this little device right here. Yes, it's called the cell phone, but he also called it a micro budget production studio in your pocket. Or he also called it micro TV networks in your pocket. And so with the power of this, you guys, or, you know, if you're using a laptop and whatnot, I mean, to your point, Christian, that's as I almost knocked my table over. To your point, Christian, we already have the tools, you know, to produce art, to be part of something bigger, to bring attention to something bigger. Because, I mean, I don't know. You can cut myself off there, because then I'm just kind of a broken record. Jessica, what do you got on this?
I agree. I think that Christian said it very nicely. And then I do think, again, I go back to like duty, responsibility. I think that very much hits home for why I personally feel like I'm an artist. And I think these guys would say the same. Like, I have this desire and hope that it does something, that it gets conversations going, that it hits somebody, makes them cry, makes them laugh. Like, I can attest to what Christian is talking about. Our professor, Tamika Washington, like, that's what she told us. And it really hits home, because as an artist, in some ways it can be kind of selfish, but I also disagree with that. I think that as artists, when you come together and you want to tell a story that's worth telling and you have fun in the process, like, that's the best thing. Because we do, as audiences and people, we love to hear stories. And I think that's how we learn and grow, and how we can actually change the world. I really do believe that. I think that I personally have found that that's why I want to be an artist, because that's my avenue to try to like implement change in the world and to be a part of something, like Christian said, greater than myself. So.
And to your point, Jessica, I think one thing that I just heard in what you said was, you know, being an artist, or being who you are, is enough. Being you is enough, because a lot of people think, well, I have to go out and be somebody else, or I have to be this, or I have to be an activist, or I have to. And I was there too. And again, you know, it's just about being you. It's just about being you, and seeing like, how can being me and what I do serve something else, or somebody else, or something greater, you know? So I that's another big topic, but just to kind of dip into it quickly, I believe it's very important that people understand you don't have to be any more or any less than who you are. If you're
Agreed.
an actor, if you're a filmmaker, you be you, you do you. But what gifts and what talents do you have that can help somebody else? Great or a cause greater than your guys. As I'm stumbling because my mouth is going dry. Happens to be out in Filmspiration. All right, you guys, thank you very much, and everyone out there in Filmspiration land. We're gonna go and close this out, but the links to A View from the Bridge. Did I screw that? Nope, I did not screw that.
Got it.
A View from the Bridge. That will be in the description. And then also you guys go ahead and send me those other links too. That way people can find those links in the descriptions. And thank you very much. You guys, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. This was so fun.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Okay.
You're doing great work.
What's that, Christian? I'm sorry?
You're doing great work.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Again, with the tools that I've got, which is a laptop and, I got the basics.